Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to the next session of design and drawing of reinforced concrete structures. In last class, we had discussed about the stress strain diagram for mild steel. Already we have seen about the what is meant by stress, what is meant by strain, and what are the various type of engineering materials. We are calculated the, that means we are seen about the ductile material, we have seen about the brittle material. This is the new concept. From today onwards we are going to learn the something new. That means that analysis part we are discussing from today onwards. And if you see here, this is the analysis of singly reinforced section under limit state of collapse under flexural condition. Before this class, we have discussed about the limit state of collapse under flexural condition. We have seen the different types of assumptions, what it was given in the IS 456 code book. If you consider this IS 456 code book, we have seen different types of assumptions. That is, plane section is remains plane before and after bending. The compressive strain in concrete shall be taken as 0.0035 under flexural condition we have calculated. And the stress block is parabolic from neutral axis to the strain of 0.002 and rectangular to the strain of 0.0035 we have seen. We have known about the tensile strength of the concrete also ignored for the any type of sectional members. We have calculated the tensile steel strain shall not be less than 0.002 plus 0.87 Fy by Es. These are the various type of assumptions we are discussed in our previous sessions. Today we will see the analysis of some simply supported singly reinforced section. We will discuss what is singly reinforced section, how we are going to analysis or how we are going to design. Today we will see. And if you look into this picture, the first one is the analysis of singly reinforced section. And if you observe here, limit state in flexure, limit state in limit state in a flexure assumptions we have seen. And if you see here, this is the one rectangular beam. If you see here, this rectangular beam having a total depth of D, that means if you see here, this is the total depth of the beam and this is the width of the beam. The total depth of the beam we are taking it as D and this B is the width of the beam. And if you observe here, this axis what we are seeing here, it is the neutral axis. We are already discussed what is meant by neutral axis. Neutral axis, it is the axis which divides the compression phase as well as the tension phase. That means if you take this beam, the load what you are applying on this concrete beam in compression direction up to this way, the member will get compressed. Whereas in this portion, the load what you are applying, this will be taken by the steel rods, hence it will resist the tension forces. Where neutral axis, it divides the compression phase, that is the concrete phase, and it divides the steel phase, tension phase. And if you observe here, this block steel holes represents the diameter of the steel bars. For different types of steel members, sectional members, we use different types of number of bars. The bars may be 6 mm, 8 mm, 12 mm, 16 mm, 18 mm, 20 mm, 25 mm. Based on the design of the section, design of the member, we'll use that particular diameter of the bar. And if you observe here, this bars will be called as the area of the steel. That means we are providing the longitudinal direction as well as in a lateral direction. And if you see here, there is one more term we are introducing, that is nothing but small d. This small d we are taking it is from the top extreme compression fiber to the half of the middle of the steel bar. That means if you take here steel bar, this is the centroidal distance, half of the centroid of the rod bar, and where D is called as the effective depth of the beam or effective depth of the member, where capital D is the total depth of the member, small b is the width of the member, whereas small d is the effective depth of the member. Effective depth already we are discussed. That means the concrete what we are providing, we are calculating this analysis part and design part only up to this is center of the diameter of the bars. That means the concrete what you are providing below this steel rods we are not calculating. That means concrete cannot take care of any tension loads below the tension zone or below the bottom of the steel rods. Hence we are ignoring the concrete below the bottom of the soil mass. That means the effective depth we are calculating only from the top of the compression fiber of the concrete to the central distance of the steel bar. Up to now this is the section, and where XU is called as a depth of the neutral axis, where XU is called as the depth of the neutral axis. This depth of the neutral axis already we are know it will divide the compression phase and tension phase. For different types of cross-sectional members, the depth of neutral axis it will may change. In some condition it will may at some depth, at some condition it may in another depth. For different types of members, how the depth of neutral axis it will be vary, we will see in our next class. And if you see here where XU is the depth of neutral axis, the neutral axis will divide the compression phase as well as tension phase. Compression phase, that means the load what is going to be compressed, that will be taken by the concrete, whereas in tension phase while applying the load the member will may get tensed, the tension force will be taken by the steel, whereas neutral axis will divide the compression phase and tension phase. And if you see here D, where D is the effective depth of the sectional member, that means from top of the compression fiber to center of the steel bar we are considering it as the effective depth. And if you observe here, this is the effective cover. If you see here, this is we are calculating as a effective cover. That means we are giving the concrete below the bottom of the tension zone also. Why? Because if you not provide any effective cover to the steel bars, these steel bars may get exposed to atmosphere, which may leads to the corrosion, and the steel will may get corroded and the structure will may failure. Hence why we will keep some amount of concrete below the tension zone. But the concrete it cannot take any tension loads, it cannot take any load. It is only giving cover with respect to the atmosphere. The atmosphere agents which are without giving any harmful agents inserting into the steel, to resist that particular purpose only we are keeping this effective cover. For different types of sectional members, the effective cover it will may vary based on this IS 456. We are having different types of effective cover. And if you look into this bottom side picture and see, normally our first condition is the concrete beam is in this direction, in this way. That means suppose this is your normal concrete beam before application of the load. Suppose I manufactured the concrete and I kept in some 100 by 100 by 500 mm length concrete beam. In that I casted the concrete and I am applied the load. Due to application of the load, the beam it will be bend like this. That means the concrete member it will may bend like this. If you see here where this is the neutral axis of the sectional member, this is the neutral axis of the section member. Due to this application of the load, if you observe here above the neutral axis, this is the compression phase. That means if you see here, there is no observable effect of cracks on the top of the beam. If you see here, there are no cracks are there. That means concrete is strong in this portion. Concrete will take care of the compressive loads. But whereas if you observe here below this neutral axis, the concrete is getting cracks. That means the concrete is getting failure in this direction, in the bottom direction. Hence why we are introducing the steel into the tension zone. Hence why we are introducing the steel into the tension zone. After introducing of steel into this tension zone, the failure won't occur in the bottom zone. That means the tensile loads will take care by the steel. Hence why concrete won't get failure in the tension zone or bottom zone. This is the concept of drawing of reinforced concrete structure. If you are not inserting any steel bars below the bottom of the beam, due to application of the load, concrete will get strong in compression phase, but in bottom side tension direction, the member will make get failure. To resist that failure, we are introducing the steel bar in the tension zone. That is nothing but the reinforced concrete. If you introduce the steel bar alone in the bottom direction, in such condition, if you design the member in such a way that that member it will be called as a singly reinforced member or singly reinforced section. That means we are keeping or we are embedding the steel in the one direction only. That means in the tension direction. If you provide the reinforcement in one direction, that is in tension direction, that member it will be called as a singly reinforced. Whereas if you provide the steel member in compression member also, if you provide the reinforcement in top portion also, that it will be called as a doubly reinforced. For analysis and design purpose only, we will say singly reinforced section, but basically when for practical condition, practical purpose, we will provide the reinforcement both in bottom and top. Okay, that means why? Because to resist this tension side steel bars, we will keep one more steel bars in the top direction, and by using some stirrups, we will tie this both top and bottom of the steel bars. After inserting of the steel bars at top and bottom, you will get the maximum amount of strength of the concrete. Hence why while applying the load also, the concrete won't get failed in the top portion, as well as the concrete also won't get failure in the bottom direction. Hence why we are introducing the steel into the concrete. That is the beauty of the civil engineering structures. And if you see here, this is the same diagram based on the limit state of collapse under flexural condition. We have seen again the same diagram I am representing here. Here we will see some more calculation part based on this limit state in flexural condition based on this image diagram. Next we will derive some equations. If you see here, already we are considered this rectangular section. This is the width of the section B, width of the section as B, total depth of the beam as D, that it will be called as a total depth or gross depth. And if you see here, above the neutral axis, this is the compression phase, and below the neutral axis, this is the tension phase. Here we are inserted the some steel bars or steel rods. That steel rods, what is the size of the diameter, what are the different type of steel rods, we will see in next class. And if you see here, this is the area of the steel we are providing. Again, if you check here from top of the compression fiber to, we are taking the effective depth of the sectional member as D, and whereas XU is the neutral axis depth, neutral axis that divides the compression phase and the tension phase. That means how much depth the concrete will take care of the compressive loads and how much depth the steel will take care of the tensile loads. That will be dependent based on the neutral axis. And if you see here, our assumptions, plane section remains plane, as well as maximum compression fiber, as well as tensile strength of the concrete, as well as the fifth assignment. That means the maximum tensile strain in the concrete. Based on this concept, we know that means the strain variation is linear. From the top of the compression fiber, we are taking this concrete in straining concrete as 0.0035, where 0.0035 is the strain in concrete. This is the maximum limit. After beyond this limit, if the strain is exceed, that we won't be useful for construction purpose. Again, if you see here, this 0.002 plus 0.87 into Fy by S is the maximum strain in the tensile steel. It shall not be less than this value. This strain what you are getting in the steel, it shall not be less than per particular this value. And if you see here, this from third assumptions of stress block parameter, the stress block is parabolic from neutral axis to the strain of 0.002 and a rectangular up to the strain of 0.0035. That means if you see here, this is the neutral axis from neutral axis to strain of 0.002. That means from up to here, this stress block is in parabolic in shape. That means from neutral axis to the strain of 0.002, this stress block is in a parabolic shape. Again from 0.002 up to 0.0035, this stress block is in a rectangular in portion. This is the concept we are considered for the limit state of collapse under flexural condition. If you see here, where 0.446 FCK is the design strength of the concrete member. Where 0.446 FCK is the design strength of the concrete members. Suppose if you calculated M30 grade of concrete also, the characteristic strength it may be 30 Newton per mm square. Whereas by substituting 0.446 into 30, okay, that means 12.6 something it will come. That 13 megapascal only we are calculating for the while designing the member. That means first we are taking 30 megapascal. Whereas while calculating the design strength, for design strength we are calculating this as only 0.446 into FCK. Okay, and again if you see here, this neutral axis XU we are dividing it as from 0.0035 to 0.00 strain. We are dividing it as x1, and again from 0.002 neutral axis we are taking it as x2. Okay, see, this is the diagram we have to calculate first. Okay, if you see here, we are observing some similarity triangle. How I am calculating means, I am taking this big triangle and I am taking this small triangle. That means, okay. Now what I am doing means, from similarity of triangles, what I am doing means, I am doing, okay, this is the 0.0035. From similarity of triangles, I am taking this value as 0.0035 divided by, where 0.0035 divided by up to, this is the total depth of the soil mass, that is XU, 0.0035. This is the triangle, big triangle I am considering. From this big triangle I am taking this compression strain concrete, which will be 0.0035, where XU is the depth of the neutral axis. That means 0.0035 divided by XU equal to, again next what I am doing, I am taking this small triangle. This small triangle it will be 0.002 divided by x2, that equal to, from small triangle what I am having 0.002 divided by x2. Now I am interested in to calculate this x2 value from top of the compression fiber, how much depth it will be the x2. That means what I am doing here, means x2 equal to 0.002 divided by x2 equal to 0.002 divided by 0.0035 into, I am bringing this XU to that side, that equal to XU. And again if you calculate this x2 value, x2 equal to, by calculating this 0.002 divided by 0.0035, we will get this value as 4/7 of XU. We calculate this value as 4/7 of XU. Okay, if you see here, this is the x1 from top of the compression fiber to the 0.002, and from 0.002 neutral axis I am taking it as x2. From similarity triangles I am considering this big triangle, that means 0.0035 divided by XU. Again from small triangle I am taking it as 0.002 divided by x2. And if you calculate the x2, we are getting this value as 4/7 of XU. Again, now I want to calculate the value of x1. Value of x1, how we can calculate? we can calculate it by multiplication of x1 and x2. That means x1 plus x2 equal to xu. x1 plus x2 equal to xu. Okay, that means x1 plus x2 equal to xu. Now I want to calculate the x1 value. That equal to x1 equal to x1 equal to xu minus 4 by 7 of xu. If you calculate the x1 value we are getting it as x1 equal to 3 by 7 of xu. x1 equal to 3 by 7 of xu. This is the values up to now we are calculated, where x2 equal to 4 by 7 of xu, x1 equal to 3 by 7 of xu. Now I want to calculate how much amount of compressive forces, how much amount of tensile forces will acting on this stress block. And if you see here in this stress block, the direction what we are indicating here, the direction what we are seeing here, that is the blue direction indicates the compressive forces. In this stress block parameter, how much amount of compressive forces are acting, how much amount of tensile force are acting. Now I am interested to calculate those parameter values. Now what I am doing, I am writing it here as analysis of compressive forces. Okay, analysis of compressive forces. And if you see here, see, this is the one rectangular portion and this is the one parabola portion. In parabola portion we are having some amount of compressive forces, whereas in parabolic portion also we are having some amount of compressive forces. That means this is the concrete member. In concrete member we are applying load. Due to this application of the load, the concrete will resist by this amount of compressive strength. But in rectangular portion, to gain strain of 0.0035, how much amount of compressive force we are giving. Again, in parabola portion, to give the strain of 0.002, how much amount of compressive force we are giving. That means in rectangular portion, how much amount of compressive force is coming. In parabolic shape, how much amount of compressive force is coming. Now I am interested to calculate that value.